Hey, this is the Chuck Bryant Show Unplugged. And let me tell you something. Today, we've got a very special guest that's going to be on the conference with us today. But I got to get started. Hey, you remember this is the Chuck Bryant Show Unplugged, where we ask the very hard questions. You may want to go get you a tissue before it becomes an issue. And get ready. Are you ready for this? I have in the chat with us today, by popular demand all over the world, satellites are steaming up for this information. She was live last night at NQC, and look at her. She just got a glow about her. Her music's totally awesome. And Tori, tell us who you are.
Oh, who am I? That's such a long answer. My name is Tori Gay. And the brief description is I am a Christian who sings and writes gospel music, and I do Southern comedy, and I take that and put it in a program and go share it with people.
I love your skits you do. I watched some of your videos that you sent over. I was rolling in the floor. I thought, I've seen other Christian comedians, but you've got it down pat. So how long have you been doing your comedy act?
The comedy, the music, a little over 16 years. The comedy was created probably about, what year is this? 13, 14 years ago, but didn't actually start doing it in public until about 4 years ago, because it's so out of my comfort zone. And the Lord told me to do it. Y'all, I'm serious. I mean, I would never have chosen to do something like this. And but anyway, so he started opening up the doors to do it, and so I just haven't looked back, and people seem to enjoy it. So
it's awesome. It's totally awesome.
Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about your music background.
Well, like so many people that, are in the music field, I started singing when I was in church when I was like 4, and just sang all throughout church. I never, ever thought that I would be singing in a ministry. Never thought that. But when I was, let's say, probably 25 or so, I just felt like I got the call to go into music ministry. It was all in bits and pieces and progression, because when I started, I wasn't even in it for ministry. I wanted to sing gospel music, but I just wanted to sing. But over the years, the Lord has really turned my focus to the ministry, and the people that are hearing the songs and the messages that they're getting from them. And so that's just been how my ministry has developed. I'm definitely one of those that has been equipped after the call. I think everybody is, though.
Well, I never thought of me doing what I'm doing. I never thought about being in radio. I never thought about, producing TV, putting people's programs on it, including my own. I took the call in 97 when God called me, and I said, where are we going with this? In the middle of the night, I just came back from church. In the middle of the night, I got the call that he wanted me to go into ministry, but he didn't tell me what. He said, we're going into ministry and we're going to Florida. And then, you're going to get to go to Florida. You'll get, I did not want to go to Florida. I'm from North Georgia. I settled my roots when I was in high school here. I was raising my family here. Everything that I did, my job that I had here in Dalton, I was working for the utility company. I had life, where I wanted it. And then wound up, things were not what I would seem they to be. And then in 97, God called me. And then in 98, he says, we're going to Florida. And that was in the middle of the year. And I said, no, we're not going to Florida. And in December, before the end of the year, I was sitting in Florida. January, I was sitting at a church, and I thought this was the church he wanted me to go to. So I showed up, and for about 4 months, we rode around town looking for that church. And one day, I just felt the Holy Spirit said, this is where we're going. It was called the Church of the Brethren. The Brethren are out of Pennsylvania and more up north area. And I walked into the church and I said, Pastor, I don't know why I'm here. God's called me to come here. And he says, we've been expecting you. And this is the kicker. When I walked in the door, he says, you got 2 small children and you come from North Georgia. That's all he knew. And I'm like, I guess I'm supposed to be here. I was there for 5 years as the youth pastor of the church. And that was my calling. And I did it for 5 years. And if you've ever worked in youth ministry, some people make it longer. Some people, it's the stepping stone to the next thing in church. And when I resigned, I said, God, I'll do anything else you want me to do. Just don't want to do that no more. And then I had a buddy. I'd been working my computer business and then turned around and in 2013, he asked me to marry his daughter because I had the credentials of doing the marriage. And I said, I just don't feel comfortable. He said, you've done it before. And I have. I've done some big weddings. I've done them on Fort Myers Beach, around 500 people. I wasn't nervous a bit. Messed up on the name like 3 times, but I wasn't nervous a bit. Yeah, right. But anyway, cut a story short, I did the wedding. And then the next thing I got a call from my daughter telling me about my granddaughter having CCAMs, and CCAMs, little small tumors inside the lung before the baby was even born. And obviously thanks to Texas and thanks to all the University of Austin for being able to have the ultrasound equipment that they had to be able to find that growth. She's a 8-year-old, and you would never known that anything was ever wrong with her. And that's a God thing right there. But God told me he wanted me to start an internet radio station, and I said, okay. And he gave us a date to get started, and we started WOTG on the 1st of January of 2015, and we've been going strong ever since, and the ministry's grown. So I can't say, I've enjoyed it. I always say that I would rather be sitting on the couch watching the old reruns of Hawaii 5-0, but God said, pick up your mule and let's get to work. And Tori, that's where I've been ever since.
Yeah.
And I love doing what I'm doing now. I love listening to interviews. I love to listen to the stories. It's like we got a pastor that we're interviewing. I've interviewed some of the I've interviewed people in country music. I interviewed Charlie Daniels. I've interviewed Lacey J. Dalton. I've got to interview somebody in your neck of the woods. Her name is Heidi Pardon, Dolly Parton's niece. Randy. Yeah, I think I think I've seen her. You may know Heidi. I don't know if you do or not.
I don't know her, but when I worked at Dollywood, I got to know some of who the family were, not necessarily know them.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, she was a pure delight, because I got a background in jazz music because I grew up in Louisiana. And I lived what as people would call it down the road. And when you go past New Orleans, not a lot of people know this, but when you go down below the French Quarter and everything else, and you're going south, now if you go across the bridge, you go into Plaquemines Parish in New Orleans. But if you go to New Orleans in the French Quarter, there's only 2 roads going into St. Bernard Parish, Judge Perez and St. Bernard Avenue, which they have their names as they come up into New Orleans. But anyway, I grew up down there. So I get to go and as a teenager, go listen to jazz and all the different cultures of music in the French Quarter. And I enjoyed it. And then we wound up in a place called North Georgia, Dalton, Georgia. And there ain't nothing. Well, now there is, but back in those days, there was nothing going on up here. I mean, even the Greyhound bus came in real quick and left because they didn't know what to expect. But anyway, that's enough. So what's your next big project you're working on?
Well, right now I have just finished doing a single with a company in Nashville that a lot of people probably know the name by now, Godsey Media, because Scott Godsey has become one of the main players, I guess, in our gospel music. And so anyway, it's his company, but he and Paul Secord co-produced it, and it's a song that I wrote about putting on our armor every day, because we're in a battle and we have to have armor when we're in a battle. And some people don't really see the significance of putting on your spiritual armor, but I do. I literally go through the motions every morning of putting that on. And so anyway, so we did the single. We're going to do a video for it, like an actual video. And we talked about, I'm from a little town called Foxworth, Mississippi, that nobody knows where it's at, and we don't do videos. That's not we're not that up to.
When you're talking little bitty town, it is. I think, what do y'all got, like 600-700 people in that little bitty town, if that?
No, I'm sure there's more, because it's the town part is very small. I mean, there's the post office, schools, and churches and stuff, but it's mostly outlying country. So, it's mostly countryside, just residential. But so there's more people than that. But
Well, when I was in there in the 80s, it was a really small town.
Yeah. It's town part is still small. It's still very small. Yeah. But yeah, it's a map dot town, and most people don't know where that's at. So I usually go, do you know where Hattiesburg is? Because a lot of people know where Hattiesburg is, either because of Camp Shelby or USM. So yeah. So, but yeah, we're doing that. So I stop and I look back on just how far I have come in 16 years. And it's just amazing, because I never thought that I would be where I'm at, doing what I'm doing, knowing people that I know. I was telling them last night, at NQC, it's so weird to go and to know people and to have people to talk to, and have like, I'm hanging out at the Charles Novell School of Music booth. Like, I have a booth to go hang out at NQC, and it's just a progression. That's all it is. It's just the Lord has kept the path clear, and, well, not always clear, but, to get around the obstacles. But it's been a long journey. And we're so quick to get discouraged and to just stop. And we say, well, I'm going nowhere. Nothing's happening. I quit. And I wanted to several times. I told the Lord, I quit. Why am I doing this? Nobody cares. But he always encouraged me to keep going. And so now I'm at the point where I can go, wow, the Lord he had a plan, and he's still unfolding it. But to be where I'm at now, as opposed to where I was, I'm just like, I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. So it's just amazing. But so we've got the song's done, and Lori Wise of Wise Choice Promotions is sending it to radio. And that of course is exciting, to send a song to radio, because I've had other songs sent to radio. This one's different, though. I feel like it just kind of marks a new season of my ministry. But it's not about, it shouldn't be about the thrill of sending a song to radio and charting and all that. It's about the message. It's about people hearing the message. And for most of my years in ministry, I have felt like my specific purpose is to edify and encourage the church. Because again, we're in a battle. And if a soldier's morale is down, or if they're not in the shape they need to be in, they can't fight for themselves. They can't help defend those around them. They can't help defend those who have no defenses to even use. So whatever I'm, sharing, I want it to help to build up our church people, because we need that, so we can go out and reach those who are not church people, who don't know anything about how to deal with these daily issues that we face. So
yeah, we got to have that full armor on. That's one of the biggest things right now, as we're dealing with this epidemic that's going on around the world. And, I've got ties to Branson. I've got ties to this area. I've got ties to Louisiana and Florida. And I get on Facebook and I see the people that are, people that, gospel singers. Just a couple weeks ago, we lost a whole entire gospel group. It's not like one or two. Ordained. I don't know if you've ever heard of Katrina Hedrick and Greg Hedrick of Ordained, but both of those passed away in 2 days apart. And she lost her mom a year ago to the date. She mom passed away. And see, I growed up with them. I growed up with Katrina and Greg. Greg went to Ringgold. Katrina went to high school with me when she was a freshman. I was a senior. And I've known her when she used to sing with the Hasties. And then I got friends in Louisiana that, preachers and people are in it. And, it's just crazy. If we don't have on our armor of God, it's so great that you would have a song like that. That's just totally awesome. And you mentioned a couple of names through what you was talking about. Scott Gotsey, an awesome man and what he's been doing. And then that little bitty old lady from Alabama called Lori Wise. She just, I mean, she's got a personality out of this world. She does. And I didn't say anything about the hairdo, but
The hair.
but I tell you right now, I've been in Lori and Russell's house before I had dinner with them. And I was blessed to go over and spend an afternoon with them. Russell used to do a program for us on WOTG years ago, and then he went over to New Journey Radio, and now he's behind the bus, driving the bus for everybody. But Russell's awesome, and so is Lori. She's just and if we haven't already got you into it, and she's sending out the radio comp, we'll be getting it very soon because we're on Lori's mailing list. And she always sends it. And the stuff that I've seen her do for other artists and stuff is just amazing what they can do over there. So I wish you the best of luck on that. So what else is now here comes the real hard question.
Okay.
She had time to go get her tissue, but she failed to go get it. This is the one that's going to make her think really hard. What's up next for you? See, I told you, folks, this is the hard question. The smoke is coming out of the back of the head as Tori thinks.
I am always planning because, you never know when you're going to have an opportunity to, take the next step. And I had talked to Scott when we started doing this new single, just kind of about what the next steps would be. And so I don't know when a new album will come, but right now I'm focusing on the next single, and I'm trying to compile songs that will go together on an album, and that will include this new song, by the way, is called Armor of the Lord. So it'll include that one and whatever the next single is, because I don't want to just send out a bunch of singles. I want to incorporate them into an album, because it's been a couple of years since I did an album, and now I'm in just on a different playing field, I guess, and having different opportunities. And so I hope it won't be too long. I told Scott I'd like to do a new album before 2030, and so we'll see. But
so you heard that here, right, folks? That's right. In the next 8 years, we're planning on getting it before we hit into the 30s. Before I turn 60, she'll have it ready.
hopefully, Lord willing. Look, I'm telling you. Okay, so I did my first album in 2005. I did not get to do the second album until 2019. 14 years, because I wanted to wait in the Lord's timing, because I know that if you don't do it in the Lord's timing, it's wrong. Because the first one, really, I shouldn't have done it when I did it, but I did it, and the Lord has used it to do things. But I just kept waiting, and finally, in the beginning of 2019, I was like, we're gonna get to do this year. And I felt like he said, okay, start getting it ready. And I did, and he funded it. And it's a very special album to me, though, because Jeff Stice produced it and Jeff played on all the songs. But last week I did a program over in North Carolina, and I told him, I was like, this is the hardest program I've ever done, because he produced it and he played on everything. And so I got through the service, but boy, when I was rehearsing, it was like the day or two after we'd found out that he had died, and it was so hard. It was so hard.
He was such a great guy. He was. I
He,
never got. He was at NQC when I went up in 2018 and 2019. He
mhm,
was there. I never. I was going to go by and see him because I wanted to get to know him. When I go to NQC, it's not about picking up CDs. It's not about going to your product table to get something or to get a picture. It's where I can possibly get an interview to get to know you a little bit better. And I mean, I had friends when I went up there in 2019. I went up with Andrew Burnett, and Andrew's, oh, we're going to all these tables. I seen Tony Dean from the Dean family.
mhm,
Tony, when I was down in Florida and we had our office in Clearwater, that him and Tina and Jimmy and little Noah Dean, which is not so little anymore. He's real tall now, but they came to my studio 2 or 3 times.
mhm.
And so, I got to see Tony. Hey, you got a minute? Let's sit down and talk.
Yeah.
And you get to see people that you hadn't seen for a while when you go to a place like this, but you're there. And one of the greatest things that, Tori, that I loved about going to NQC, you get to meet new people, you get to make new contacts.
Mhm.
But I walked in there and I stood before the stage, and somebody asked me, said, why did you do that? And I said, you're looking at a stage. It don't matter if they change it, they change the lights, they stand it. Who was there before you got to be there?
Yeah.
And think of all the great gospel greats, that have stood on that stage, that have sung over that stage in the years in the 80s and ever how long it's been going. The Dottie Rambos, the Hensons, and so many great artists that I've got to know in my lifetime of doing this and getting to shake hands of the big people. And now that I'm and my ties here are not just here, they're in Branson too. So I'm working on two major playing fields of either Christian or Southern gospel or country and stuff like that to me. But when I get to sit down and talk to one of these people, to me, it's like royalty.
Mhm.
You don't have to be a queen to sit down and talk to someone maybe like you, or maybe talk like, to Tony Dean, or to talk to, she was inducted to Karen Peck. Karen Peck was inducted too.
Yeah.
And in my little bitty 10 years of doing what I'm doing, I've got to meet all of my favorite gospel singers and to stand beside them. And, I've been with the Freemans quite a few times. And when my wife was really sick, Daryl and Chris Freeman was sending me text messages wanting to know how she was doing and everything else. We had just been with them in a concert. And then the Epps family. And the list just goes on and on and on. And didn't get to interview you today is a true honor to have you on the Chuck Bryant Show Unplugged, get to hear you about how you talk about your ministry and everything else. It's such a blessing.
It's a blessing to me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here talking to you because
Well,
I mean,
huh?
ministry ministry is important, because the world we're in, you know, people think some people think, some Christians even, they feel like they can't laugh. They can't have that happy song to sing. It's all focus on the doom and gloom because the world's crumbling around us. Well, it may be, but the Bible tells us to focus on the good things. So we have to focus on the Lord. We have to focus on the memories that we have of talking to people that we've always wanted to meet and stuff like that. So I
Well, my
appreciate being here.
yeah, my one thing is that I haven't been able to do yet. There is only one group that is left in my quest. And I have been up and down the interstate. And I mean, I could see them as I'm passing them. They've been in Orlando, and I've been going to see the Deans. And I would think, well, if I just, oh, I made a promise, I got to be here. And I'd go over and see the Deans, knowing that Gold City was just 5 or 6 miles up the road. And I'm a big fan of Gold City. I've been a big fan for years.
Yes.
And the some of the stuff that I've done in this lifetime is the people that came to church when I got saved in 85. That gospel group's still going today. They've changed their name, but I've been in concert with them. I've sat down and I've broke bread with them. It's just the little bitty things that you get to do when you get to see to me, they're my gospel heroes, because, in the Bible, we have, we got the stories of the 12 disciples. We've got the stories of John the Baptist. We got stories of Noah. We got stories of Moses and King David and Jesus in the Bible. Well, these are the people that are walking, talking, and praising and singing for God, just like you, that, years from now, whether they see this video or you up on the main stage in NQC, or, hey, it could happen. Hey, Lord, let's make this happen. But you know what I'm saying? Because wherever you're at in a concert, wherever you're at in a convention, there's going to be some part of you that you're going to leave that seed there that's going to build years from now. I remember me driving all the way from Tampa, Florida, all the way to Oklahoma to gospel singing.
Wow.
And it's been since 2017 since I've been to a major convention like that. I always go down to Florida. I didn't get to go this year because of Donna and me having an injury, but I plan on going back. I plan on getting stronger. She's getting stronger. And, this last year, we've been working really hard getting her strength up, because I got to get back out there. I got to get the radio station. I got to get the TV station. There's things that we're missing that people don't know that we can do. And coming up to your table, and I got a camera guy behind me, and I go, hey, Tor, didn't we do an interview last year while you was in NQC? And then here's the big guy with the camera behind me, and we're filming you to go on the TV program. And it's so awesome. And the things that you've been doing, I have with your gospel comedian stuff. I mean, I bet you bring down the houses sometimes and doing that. You know who you remind me of with the hat that you put on? Reminds me so much of Carol Burnett. If you remember to the Carol Burnett show, when Carol used to wear that little hat underneath her, or maybe the lady from Hee Haw, it's just so many people that you can remind. But, those are the things that plant seed. I was with Mike Fleming a couple of weeks ago in a Baptist church, and Mike's working with a gentleman where he's touring around the country. They were in Oklahoma last weekend. Now he's at NQC. And to see these people go up and do these, I can't remember the guy. I think his name's Trevor. I could be wrong, but Trevor puts this skit together where they sing and they do skits and everything. It is awesome what y'all do. And you don't bring in just gospel music. You bring in your little comedy act that, touches people. And it touches them right here, because they may be going out and they'll be with the people in the church. Well, you remember that person that we had at the church? He did that comedy act. It really touched my heart. And hey, I got a friend that would love to have him at our church. There's where you plant the seeds. And that's that little seed of a mustard seed that you plant that can move mountains. And they go, do you remember what that lady's name was? Boy, she sure was fun. But boy, could she sing too.
You know what's funny? Most people, well, not most people, I hope, but some people have I'll see them again or something like that, and they don't remember my name, but they go, Lulu Bell. I think that is the funniest thing, because that's my character's name. And they remember her, but they don't remember me. And that's okay. It doesn't matter. Whatever reaches them, but it's just funny. But yeah.
Can you give us a little demonstration of her?
Mm-hmm.
No,
I'm not her. I can't do her. No. I will tell you that she is a combination of Mama from Mama's Family, my own grandmother.
Oh, wow.
Dorothy from the Golden Girls, and a lot of, yeah, a lot of people, they do, you mentioned Hee Haw, and a lot of people think of Minnie Pearl. That's who they think of when they see her.
Yeah.
I don't see the connection there, but I guess it's just because the female comedy part. But
You
anyway,
see the
that's an
people,
honor.
yeah, and you know, some of the people that you mentioned that where you'll pick this up at is where they've carried the torch already.
Mm,
Carol Burnett and I can't remember who, Vicki Lawrence.
Vicki
Vicki
Lawrence.
Lawrence played Mama for a long time. And I remember that show. I wouldn't watch anything else. I'd come home and it being reruns and I'd turn it on and you just want to see what Vicky's going to do. And it's just crazy. And
Yeah.
that was the same thing in the 70s, getting to watch Carol Burnett and stuff. So what's coming up for you in 2022?
Who knows? I mean, if you'd asked me last year what we're doing this year or the year before what we're doing the last year, well, you know how it is. I just try to stay where the Lord wants me to stay and see what he has next. I mean, I'm always praying because he knows that's the thing I love about this ministry. It's like I said, it started off with my selfish desires of just singing. My motives were all messed up, but now that I've, things are as they should be, the Lord has made it a desire of my heart, which is so much more than a dream or a wish or, anything like that. Desire of your heart, you cannot let go. It's in your heart, So, but it's great because that desire of my heart that he gave me is the desire of his heart because it's ministry, because it's out there trying to tell people about him, sharing Jesus through music and laughter, but it is, so that's the desire of my heart to share with those people. But at the same time, it is my dream to progress with the music career because this is all I want to do with my life. I don't want to, I just want to be able to focus on, whether it's, developing more with Lulu Bell or writing or just, adding more dates to go out and sing to people, whatever it is. I just want to do this. This is what I want to do. So that desire of my heart to share Jesus and the dream of being a singer, they come together. And so when I'm praying, for the Lord to further the ministry, I'm also praying, for my dreams to come true. And, I feel like I'm in a place now where I'm like, I can look around and I'm like, I see so many of them, coming true. So anyway, I just continue to pray to go further and, hopefully at least another single will be on the horizon shortly. I've already started kind of writing one for it. So, but we'll see where it goes,
Praise God.
Yeah.
Well, it's been such an honor to have you here on the show today to get to know a little bit about you besides just text messaging back and forth. And we've been text messaging back and forth for quite a bit. It's great to have you on the show. One of the things that before you go, I want to talk to you about a couple of things before we go. But at the end of the interview, one of the things that I like to do, and it's something I've been doing here recently, is that I ask the artist, would they close us in prayer and I know you love to pray. I know that's one of the greatest things that you love to do. Look at that smile. Just mention the word of prayer and you got a grin from ear to ear.
Well, prayer is just talking to God. And a lot of people, they don't realize that they feel like it's, I'm here and he's way up here. Here's my grocery list. But it's just like us talking that's prayer. That's prayer.
I go to bed, certain people go to a prayer closet. Certain people get down on their knees. Well, if I could get down on my knees and pray, I would do it, but it just takes me so long to get back up with the arthritis that I got in my knees and my back from sports and stuff.
Yeah.
But God gave me something in this last year that he gave me. I was able to sit here and be with Donna, and that's a God thing. And I fell and got hurt a year ago, and I was really devastated about not being able to go back to work and stuff, and sitting here for a year, for 6 months, and just thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then one night God says, you've got the whole world, Chuck. What are you talking about? He says, and in November, we started another TV station. We started WGHC TV that put WOTG together and Heaven's Country together. Marty and I own it. And then God called me in June to put Branson Gospel TV on with our radio stations. And the things that I'm getting to do now with syndicating my TV show to 3 or 4 different outlets is so amazing that the interviews that I get to do, I not only do I get to interview you, and I'll say, I want you to come back. Don't let this be the first time that you're here. Let's hear from you in 2 or 3 months. Hey, what's going on? And then just be a part of the WOTG family, and just great things are happening. And when I get to see, saying that, I remember when I had Tori on my show 6 years ago, and where she's at now. Let's see if we can get a hold of her and catch her. And then we catch you at NQC, Creekside, up in Branson, up in New York. You never know where God's going to take you these days. Look at that. You have no, I never thought of me being here and having a studio in a church. I didn't see it happening, but God opened up doors that just have amazed me. And this ride that we have taken in this last year with my ministry has just been great. And then I get to interview great people like you and pastors and stuff. Like tomorrow, I did one with Angela Singh just the other day. And just to see the little, you're thinking of the singer, but nobody knows the ministry behind it. Angela's got a ministry where she works with dolls. You've got a ministry where you get to put a skit on and talk about your character that you're in. And there's somebody in that church that's going to remember that is when you come back again next year. And it's just so great. And then when I come in, Chuck's here from WOTG, or Chuck's here from the TV station. I've started getting that here lately. And I was over with Greg Sullivan and Rhonda from Third Day. And I was over there with some of those, and they're in that. And then, of course, I know the King family. I know Sunshine Road. I've known these people for years. But when you come in and then you just see their face lit up, that you come to see them, they're just, oh, it's so great. And then to hear the people as they're leaving, I was interviewing Sunshine Road right before we were shutting down. And there was a person that Sunshine Road stopped right in the middle of our interview to answer some people that were talking to them about them service, being in the service and stuff, and their little skit that he does with Ozark Nelson. And it's just the great things that y'all do to put smiles on faces and winning souls for Christ. That's what we're all about.
That's right.
And Tori, I want to thank you so much for being on my show today. And if you would you close us in prayer?
I will. Dear Lord, thank you for being our Father. Thank you for being Abba, the one that we can come to with anything and everything, and the one who is always here beside us, and you're not just light years away in some foreign galaxy somewhere. But thank you for people like Chuck who have the means to help others talk about you and to get your news out and to spread your name around. Thank you that you have gifted the different children in your kingdom to do different things so that we all can have a part to tell others about you. Thank you that we can enjoy doing the work that you have given us to do. We are here, we are instruments to be used, but we can enjoy the journey. And thank you that you are with us to be our strength when we go through the hard times, which here lately has been a lot. It's been a lot. But I just thank you, and I pray that you will be with everyone out there who is in some sort of official capacity of sharing your name with others. But I pray for each of us on a daily personal level as we're out there in our world, our corner of the world, to share you with others and just be a light, because this world is so dark and we need so much light in it. And just help us to just be an example of you to others and help them to know that living the Christian life is not boring. It's not hard. Well, it can be hard, but you make it easier to get through. But thank you that we can do that, and we can let them know that, you know what, you're going through this, I'm going through this, but I've got Jesus, and that's what helps me get through this. So just be with us and help us get through and just work until you come. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Hey, you've been watching what a great interview we had today. That was someone else sounding like you just got on here, and I think I probably got another referral today for another interview. Hey, it's been so great to have you on the interview today. Please hold on. Hey, you've been listening to the Chuck Bryant Show Unplugged, where we ask the real hard questions, and they have to go get a tissue, but Tori did not have to get a tissue today. She's got a great smile. And if you get to see her coming to a church or to a singing, go check her out. Tell your friends about her. Share this video. This is going to be on our YouTube channel. Click it, share it, hit that little button to where you know all the notifications about it. Catch us on WOTG TV, WGHC, and now on Branson Gospel TV. Until next time, let the good Lord bless you in all that you do, and go tell somebody that Jesus loves them. Until next time, this is Chuck Bryant from the Chuck Bryant Show Unplugged.